Hello, welcome back to another episode of the DD Geopolitics show. Chris, you are muted. This week, I have my Iranian flag. I am ready. Chris is frozen and muted, so I guess it's just me for now. But anyway, lots of goings on. Looks like we have two theaters that may get incredibly hot tonight, and we'll be updating that throughout the show. There's a few stories I do want to get to before we.
Is it working?
A little bit, kind of halfway. You're no motion. We'll let Chris figure out his tech issues from Moscow. Anyway, so I did want to talk about a few things today before we get to the obvious breaking news. I think we're thinking that we know that Russia will strike tonight with bombers in the air, and we'll keep you posted on those counts. And I'm semi-anticipating the Iran retaliation strike, but we'll talk about that later. I don't want to get Chris too excited while he's still trying to fix his tech issues. So I'll do the frozen. Now the word frozen's in my head, thanks to Chris. I will do the boring stuff first, or the American stuff first. So,
is it working?
A little, no, yeah, no.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
It's working.
Okay. Hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad.
Okay. Good job. So everybody said they saw you on Moats, and then you were excellent. Did you enjoy your appearance?
My pleasure, of course, brother George. That's
Love
it.
George.
Comrade George,
Good,
the best.
Good. Talking about your new cancellation, your newest cancellation.
Talking about the no-fly. Talking about Biolabs in Ukraine.
How about that? We did it in, guys, I posted the links in some places, but we did an entire episode on this with our friend Andre, which was an excellent episode called Satanic Ukraine. We'll put the link to that. But yeah, talk about the biolabs.
So we talked about listen, the first thing is this. What we didn't understand fully, and now we have a good idea, is that the US was funding research on Soviet weapons-grade biological weapons, including anthrax, smallpox, botulinum toxin. Literally, they were using weapons-grade toxins and pathogens, and also doing gain-of-function research on them.
Yep. Yeah, we covered the gene splicing and embryo experiments on our show. Well, they relate back to Epstein.
Listen, I'm telling you, there's some crazy shit. And let me tell you another thing. If this is true, which is now confirmed, that means that the United States was working with Ukraine to develop weapons of mass destruction that was targeting Russia. Yeah. What more of a reason do you need for a special military operation than that? The U.S. was ready to bomb the world for a lot less than that. Literally.
The U.S. can plunge Iraq into the Stone Ages for a made-up yellow cake, but the United States can open biolabs around the world on people's borders. We reported this. We were called crazy people, remember? I even backed away from reporting it because I was like, I don't want to be one of those.
Yeah.
I knew what was going to happen as soon as I started reporting on it. You know, you'd be a MAGA Trump tard, or you'd be a conspiracy theorist. And now what? Tulsi drops this, and now MAGA's telling me Tulsi's a Russian asset, and she should be trusted.
Larry Loomer is saying that this is Kremlin talking points.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
So it's like, I don't know, this cognitive dissonance, the gaslight themselves, it's really incredible. But that was the first, because I saw Olga Bazogba, one of our, Bazogba is how you're supposed to say it, but it doesn't rhyme if you say it the right way. But Olga was complaining about it. She's like, MAGA is the new NAFO. And I was like, let's see what are you talking about. And then they pulled up the biolabs, and I was like, oh, let me go look. The ones that I saw was MAGA making excuses, saying, no, she's just trying to basically screw Trump on her way out. She's working for the Russians. And I was like, but wait, the blue hairs tell me that Trump works for the Russians. Right. So I don't know what to think.
Listen, it's like the kids' book. Everyone I hate is a Russian spy.
Or a Nazi. Right. Everyone I hate is a Russian spy. Everyone I hate is a Nazi. Everyone I hate is a Botnik. We've done that one too. So yeah, it's like boogeymen everywhere. You can't even get into like These people don't have an ideology or a plan. You can't, there's no.
No, their ideology is Russophobia.
It changes with the wind.
But one thing is eternal. Russia is the big bad boogeyman. That's it. That's it.
Well, we've got our own problems with big bad boogeymen in the United States. I'm hoping that Americans wake up before it's too late. But this is just a glimpse of what we've kind of chicken little a little bit. You know, we said this was coming. People said we were crazy. You know, we made up funny words and memes and said, we'll see you in CCOT. See you when we get Palantired. Well, what happened over the weekend is this guy, Austin Franco, he is a 19-year-old. He's a Cornell University student, class of 2028. So he must be a sophomore, maybe.
Shout out to Big Red. I also went to Cornell. My brother went to Cornell.
And for our international viewers, Cornell's a fantastic university, very highly ranked and very not very controversial. It's not known for being any it's not really
it's the institution of Carl Sagan.
Yeah, it's a very stoic place, I would say. But anyway, so he he was applying for his summer internships through LinkedIn and things like Hire Me, or there's some app called Handshake, which is another hiring app that I'm thankfully not on. I hate the hiring apps. But he reached out to Verify ID, which is a company owned by two brothers. It's the spelling VRFYID. You know, the things that you check off to verify who you are, right? Right. Where are the two brothers, Aiden and Gabe, 24-year-old entrepreneurs? They own the company Verify ID. I have no idea how it started or any of it, but it's supposedly a startup. They're verifying people's IDs and putting your personal information with two young 24-year-olds. The story that I got, and I viewed all sides, including the New York Post, forgive me, but the story that I'm getting is that the two exchanged messages via the Handshake app. Aiden or I believe it was Gabe that reached out and said, you know, we're interested in interviewing you. They scheduled an interview, and then Austin did not show up. The company reached out and said, why didn't you show up or whatever? We didn't see you at the call. And he said, I don't want to work for a Jew. Thanks. That was it. The end of it. Right. This Handshake app is a personal app. These are just personal messages between the two of them. So that could have been the end of it. You could have put the kibosh on it if you would. But no, because Gabe, being one of the tribe, has to let everybody know what happened to him, because it doesn't count if not everybody knows about it, right? So he goes on to Twitter and he posts the guy's response, but blacks out his name to be, I guess, maybe try to hold on to some morals. I don't know. Well, what do you know? Who comes to the comment section? None other than Joe Lonsdale of Palantir, and says he pressures him, bullies him. Are you afraid to show his name? Either this is fake or you're an utter coward. Which is it? Gabe says, yeah, I made up a fake AI message from Handshake. You caught me, or maybe I just don't want to expose his whole life. Wow. So this guy's like, I don't agree with him posting the message in the first place, but at least he's saying, I don't want to dox the guy. Joe Lonsdale says, no, Gabe, you are being weak. If somebody deserves this or does this, they deserve the consequences. The only way a people prevails is with strength. Be a strong Jew. Don't be one of the weaklings that reacts in a way to get us attacked more. Be a man that makes them afraid to attack your people.
So is Joe Lonsdale a Jew?
Yes. Oh. We're not done yet. So Joe Lonsdale pressures the guy into doxing him. Look at this beautiful response from Austin. These people did it to themselves. I was stating why I was not interested after you had asked to interview 3 times. I found out you were Jewish after the fact. My experiences with Jews have not been pleasant, both in person and online. This is not to say I haven't had positive experiences, but on the aggregate, that is not the case. Obviously, the reactions by your community only serves to further my point and indicate your post on X was not done in good faith. I am sure that if you indicated you did not want to work for someone who was white or Christian, this would not have blown up to the capacity it has here today, nor would you have been intimidated as I have been. Additionally, even supposing none of this were to happen, your actions here today clearly demonstrate a level of immaturity and possibly insecurity, which I wouldn't expect of a 24-year-old self-proclaimed entrepreneur. Given that I have been doxxed and intimidated by your community, including having my personal life investigated for no other reason than a single comment, I can't imagine any reasonable person not coming to a similar conclusion per the post above. Now, I do want to pause here. I think maybe the interaction is authentic, but it could also be a setup. But once I saw his response, I leaned more on the authentic side. I thought that maybe if he would have flipped out and gotten crazy anti-Semitic, I would be like, this is so gross. This is a setup. So what happens? All of the Jews start fighting. So here's Glenn Greenwald. And he says, this 19-year-old was unfairly doxxed, basically, and he's speaking out against it. Joe Lonsdale retweets it and says, if somebody says they don't want to work for a white person, we should expose them. If they say they don't want to work for a black person, expose them. Same for saying it about a Jew, but only pushing back on the third will earn you thousands of attacks from these troglodytes. To which Glenn Greenwald said, you didn't berate the CEO's redaction of this student's name by appealing to some lofty universal principles of human rights like you're doing now. You explicitly, he bullied him. I don't need to read the whole thing, but Glenn Greenwald is correct. He's calling it out. And then interestingly enough, Joe Lonsdale, this is what they do. I think it's the responsibility of a black leader to stand up for their people too. And it's our responsibility to do the same for white people. I fought back courageously against anti-white DEI BS before others. Leadership requires courage to confront racism and hate. My brother in Hashem, you got a white guy doxxed and fired. Like, what are you talking about? And so I retweeted him and said, Joe Lonsdale says it's our responsibility to stand up for white people. And I got blocked. So if I'm Palantir next week, you know why. But I do want to make a point of this because we've been saying like this is going to come, and we're not the only people to warn you. So let me replay this clip from a while ago, and then I'll get your response.
Since that day, we have featured more than 1,000 anti-Semites on our platforms. 1,000. Not theorized about them, not quietly documented them, feature them publicly, clearly, and with evidence. The results speak for themselves. Approximately 400 of these Jew haters have faced real consequences, including firings, suspensions, and expulsions. This is what accountability looks like. This is what action looks like. If you target Jewish students, your actions will not disappear into the darkness. We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented. Again, thanks to Google and SEO.
I was called a conspiracy theorist when I said that attacks on people's lives were done by these people and by these institutions. And I myself have been the victim of it. If you look online for my name, you'll find a lot of very crazy things. And people sometimes are like, ooh, I saw this about you on the internet. I'm like, it's not true. It's not true. Here's the evidence. I've got piles of evidence. What do you want to see? Here, take the phone, take the computer, take everything. They've seen it all anyway. This is what they do. They do these kinds of things. They caricature you, and then you lose jobs. Listen, I lost my teaching job.
I lost my job.
My teaching job. I wasn't even allowed to get it. I wasn't even hired for a teaching job for 3-4 years. I have no criminal record in the U.S. Zero.
Same.
Zero. Mm-hmm. Zero. No criminal record. Nothing. But this is what they do to you. All I have to do is make something fake. Mm-hmm. Put it online with enough push. It follows you for the rest of life. It could be totally false. You can't clear your name. Except like myself, I had to go to court to clear it. And even then, people still say, he's this, he's that, he's the other. This is what they do to you.
Somebody last night confronted me and said, you're being investigated. I said, where does the source? It's an article from 2023. That's fake. I was like, see, this is the type. It's the same thing. But I mean, like, look, they told us, by the way, that's Leora Rez from Stop Anti-Semitism. She's telling you, I'm working with Google and SEO. I'll ruin your whole life.
Exactly.
I'll even make sure you don't get a nanny or a spouse. That's how bad I'll ruin your life. Why is this okay? And now we have Joe Lonsdale, who is co-founder of one of basically what is now our CIA. They've even admitted it as such. They said Palantir is not a cover for the CIA. CIA is a cover for Palantir. I think that is Joe's quote, actually, or Peter Thiel's. But he bullies the guy into doxing him. Either way, he would have doxed him anyway. I mean, Joe Lonsdale can find out who the guy is.
For sure.
So it's like, what are we doing here? Do you think that they're using this kid as an example?
Oh, yeah. And they're trying to say, look, even your Ivy League prestige won't protect you. Nothing will protect you from us.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because Cornell's kind of a Jewish institution, yeah?
Yeah, a ton. Listen, it's all about intimidation.
Yeah.
It's all about intimidation. But you know what? We won't be intimidated anymore.
I'm sure he's got plenty of job offers by now. It was just a summer internship anyway.
But listen, it's messed up. It's messed up. You know,
This is really turning like the core values of our country, well, what we claim to be core values of our country, on their heads.
Well, yeah, of course. Of course. Long before I ever was here and doing the work that I'm doing, I still was subjected to secondary searches. Why? Because I supported Axis of Resistance. I supported Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua. I support all these places. I lived in China. They don't want you to have alternative viewpoint. They don't want you to be outside of their orthodoxy, so to speak. Small O, not big O. Big O is good. Small O, not good. But that's what, you know, if for example, even just you're a fan going to the World Cup, Iran, that's it, you're banned. Get out of here. You can't come to the US. Why? What's the crime?
Existing.
What's the crime? The crime is going against them. Can't go against them. Can't go against them. I told George today he said, do you think that we'll ever see the US break with Israel? I said, no, bro. What
They'll
break?
have to go down together.
Listen, it's eschatological. If they believe if they have this supremacist idea, they believe they're the chosen people, it's God's word, we're God's chosen, and all of these sorceresses and sorcerers around Trump that are evangelicals, quote unquote, so-called Christians that actually are idolatrous and look to the Jews like the golden calf when Moses was getting the 10 commandments. What do you expect? You expect them to break? How break? Not possible. Ship's going down together, as you said.
It has to. There's no other way. They're getting even further entangled. So there's just no other way. You're gonna have to take them both down. And I'm waiting for when the superpower Iran has realized it. I'm waiting for when the other two superpowers realize it. We'll see. But I don't know. But speaking of superpowers and declining empires, I jokingly said the other day we moved a meth family into the White House. They knocked down half the building and put a dirt bike track in front of it. And I was joking around about the dirt bike track. I just said it looked like it. Well, I guess I'm psychic.
But it's also that structure. The skyline the claw.
I can't think of anything more American than that.
What a sad country.
Can you believe this?
You know what I can't believe? I can't believe a lot of people died for that country. You know,
good.
George Carlin was right when he said that the United States, they took this beautiful land, this beautiful continent with mountains and forests and fresh water and these beautiful indigenous people, and they stripped it, raped it, and turned it into one continent-wide strip mall. That's what they did, coast to coast. What is really? Let me ask you a question, because I'm a professor of American history. I've studied, have a degree in American history. let me ask you a question. What is American culture today?
It's an amalgam of degeneracy and like it's so distorted and grotesque.
It's horrible. I mean, yes, there was an American culture 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can point to it. It was fantastic. These great colors. But what is it today? What is it today? But consumerism, degeneracy, hedonism, individualism.
Right.
There is no collective. The only collective is if I wear underwear with the American flag, a thong with the American flag, bras with the American flag, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Like our patriotism is so shallow.
Absolutely.
Listen, I'm gonna get ready for all the conspiracy theorists. As I said at the Roosevelt Congress in December, next to Professor Dugan, when I was giving my speech about American civilization, I said America is a civilization in development. That doesn't mean that it will eventually become a civilization.
Yeah.
It's on the road to civilizationhood, but it's a long road and difficult road. And not everybody gets there. In fact, the vast majority don't get to civilizations. I'm not quite sure if the U.S. will get to a civilization as we knew it.
And I want to be clear because, now we have the left and the right, whatever you want to call them, arguing over whose dumpster fire smells worse. Because Biden wasn't doing us any favors either. This is his front lawn at the White House. So here you have like total Sodom and Gomorrah with Biden. And then you get the Colosseum with Trump. So it's like they're all in on it. They're all doing it together. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So the other night I was at a space with my great friend Goyam, who is like a machine with learning. But he was talking about this interesting parallel that is happening now with the kind of gladiator type spectacle on the front lawn. And let me play this clip, and then I want to get your historical context and thoughts.
For the Jews against Rome.
Rome and Jerusalem clashed over values with a great tragedy for the Jewish people.
Well, we lost that one. We have to win the next one.
But the new Rome, the United States,
The Jews against Rome.
Okay, right. So he drew a really interesting parallel. He's like, you got the gladiator sort of Colosseum on the front lawn, these two disgusting emperors coming together to see this spectacle. I don't think Benjamin Netanyahu is coming anymore, but Trump is going to be there. And then you have him building this arch down the road. There's a golden statue. This is like, I know that the Jews and the Israelis love like visual symbolism, but this is like Idiocracy and like the fall of Rome are like, we're watching them right in front of us.
Yeah, of course. Listen, I believe that Israelis hate Americans.
Oh, they hate him.
They hate the USA. They are using us. But we believe that we have the upper hand and we're using them.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Not anymore. Absolutely not.
I don't think
so. That was a really, really interesting parallel, this sort of Jews versus Rome thing Benjamin Netanyahu always draws on that. So do a lot of the rabbis. I don't know if it's a popular conception, but
absolutely. In fact, when I went the first time to visit the Arch of Titus in Rome, which is in the Agora or the Roman Forum, and in the Roman Forum is the Arch of Titus, which has the famous relief, which is the Romans carrying the menorah and the treasures from the sacked Second Temple during the sack of Jerusalem. So now the Italian government puts an Israeli flag on that Arch of Titus. I don't know if we have the producer. I don't know if he can pull up a picture of that.
No effing way.
I can put it here. I'm going to put it up because it's such an important visual. Hold on. I'm going to get it for you right now. Oh my God, here it is. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
They're crazy, but that's what they do. Here, I'm going to put this in our chat here so we can pull up get the best clip you can from that. There's a big one with the arch. Now, the arch is famous because this was a monument to the emperor's victory over over the Israelites, over the Jewish people, because they were rabble rousers and they were constantly causing revolts. They weren't obedient subjects of Rome. And of course, you have then in that whole narrative, you have the story of Jesus and things. But the story of Jesus is a unique one because we constantly talk about it. And the rabbis that we know, like Rabbi Shmuley, will always say, no, the Romans killed Jesus.
Right.
No. The Romans offered a choice, Jesus or Barabbas. And the Jews that were assembled, they chose who they wanted and who they didn't want. And Pontius Pilate washed his hands. He says, an innocent man, I wash my hands of his fate. You have decided. That's the truth. That's the truth. It can't be disputed. I don't know. Do we have a clip here? Let's see if we can put this up here. If we have an image here, we can put it up. But I want to emphasize that this entire Rome versus the Jews is a long one. It's a long one. It's a historical one. And also, there's always been an idea of a new Rome. So especially the USA having taken the helm as new Rome, of course, they see it that way. You heard Netanyahu himself. This is a strong. We lost the first one. We're going to win the second. How do you think they expect to win the second?
The Samson option.
How do you the Sam? Ooh.
Or they'll just hollow us out and just kind of become the United States.
Here, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you this because now's the time to put this. Okay, here we go. So here we go. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Yeah, who knows what our guy over there is up to? Lord knows. Here, hold on. Window. What do I do? Chrome tab. Okay, here.
Mm-hmm.
You see this?
Get the hell out of here.
This is the Arch of Titus. And this is what they display on it.
They did it on purpose.
Of course they do.
Why don't they attack? I'm just. Well, then what happens if we're in this interesting historical reenactment? What happens next after our like gladiator extravaganza on the front lawn? How long before the empire falls? How long do I gotta wait?
I mean, it could happen over a long day, or it could happen overnight. Who knows?
Well,
with the Samson option, we won't even know if it happens because we might be gone in a cloud.
I live near a nuke, so and it was interesting because when I was trying to find out more before the stream about the history of Jews versus Rome, I look around, I read articles, and of course I ask AI as well, and I was like, let me ask Grok what it like. Let me ask him if this is kind of acceptable as an extended metaphor, and he says no, or it says no. I shouldn't personify it, but it says no because actually now Rome is used as a symbol for Iran, and I was like, I quit with these friggin' robots.
What? Yes. Rome is
Why would you ever equalize or equate Iran with Rome?
No, bro. Okay. Now we go to another. Did you see? Hold on. Roman Emperor. Here we go. We got it here. So everyone knows about the Roman Emperor Valerian, right? They should know. And Shapur.
Yeah,
here. This is when, I don't know why anybody could possibly think that Iran is Rome when Iran defeated Rome in battle. And here we go. Let's share this. I don't know if it's sharing.
It's coming.
Okay. New statue of ancient Shah highlights Iran's turn to look at that.
I remember when that statue was unveiled. A beautiful statue.
Yes, and that's Valerian, Emperor Valerian.
Yep.
So why would Iran need to be Rome when Iran punished Rome and brought the emperor to his knees? Iran is a civilization state older than Rome. Why would they need to be Rome? Iran is Persia.
It's just the mental gymnastics. This is why I go to yoga at least 3-4 times a week. You have to stay limber, do all these mental gymnastics. But speaking of Iran, I guess we'll get the update from there if we can sort of detangle this. I don't know how up to date you are, but we do know that, like every other day, Israeli terrorists struck Beirut. I believe they struck Dahaya in Beirut. Now, I really don't love this sort of, we hit you, then Israel hits Lebanon, and then we cut in with talks right before you can retaliate for any. It's really, I'm not really sure if I'm digging this. Then, of course, here's Barak Ravid to come in and, share the blame. Israeli military notified CENTCOM. I believe it. Both Israeli and yeah, absolutely. The Israelis don't move their planes unless the United States knows about it. But what happens next? This morning's attack on Beirut should not have happened. Well, it's particularly on a special day when we are so close to the peace deal with Iran. Like, what are we doing here, dude? Like, and then I just want to play this clip. This is oh, actually, I have the strikes on Beirut. Let's take a look.
علم هاي مش محلنا هون استهداف.
We all know that Iran has repeatedly said Beirut is a red line, that the two fronts are united. And then this is another one this is like the Gentile version of, this is the Gentile Barak Ravid. Trey Yingst from Fox News. I can't stand this dude.
He believes a deal with Iran will be signed in the next 2 to 3 hours. I asked him about the Israeli strikes earlier today against Hezbollah in the Lebanese capital of Beirut. He tells me he spoke on the phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, asking him, what the F are you doing? He told the Prime Minister not to conduct additional strikes against Hezbollah so that it doesn't affect this deal from moving forward. Now, the Israelis are bracing for the possibility of incoming Iranian ballistic missile fire, according to the IDF. And President Trump tells Fox News he will ask Iran not to respond with missile fire toward Israel, with this deal on the horizon expected to be signed tonight.
Correct myself. He's not a Gentile.
No.
Damn it. Okay. Well, I'm sorry for misreligioning you, Trey Yingst, if you're listening, you and your lisp. But that video was like 4 or 5 hours ago. So 2 to 3 hours we were supposed to sign a deal.
Is it been like 40 times, 50 times?
This is the 40th time. That's why I said to the producer before, I said, do I even need to talk about this? I did want to talk about, to get just a little bit of your opinion on it. Because here's Galibath, kind of, you cannot gain concessions. Bless you. We're always telling the truth about DDG.
It means it's true.
Let's see. Okay, the producer just sent me this message. Per Israeli Ynet journalist Ronen Bergman, following the IDF strike on Dahaya and Iranian threats of a missile response, Tehran is reportedly considering holding off on any launch to give Trump room to finalize a framework agreement tonight. As part of the deal's incentives, Trump is reportedly weighing the immediate, not gradual lifting of the naval blockade on Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, so just to give you another rough timeline. So earlier, there were rumors swirling in the Israeli media that Trump was going to either release more funds or somehow make it more enticing to get them to come back to the table and have them not retaliate against Israel. Iran responded and said, no, we reject that offer. Our loyalty to Lebanon is not for sale.
Right.
After that, the IDF hit Lebanon, Beirut area again. And now this is the news coming out now. So this is either them getting gunshot. I'm not sure. I want your take on it. Maybe the viewers have their own takes on it, but I just can't, because I don't trust United States and Israel at all. I just kind of can't get a hypothesis together.
We're in the fog of war period right now. There are no flights over Iran right now. Airspace, the Iranian Aviation Authority said that there's no NOTAM, but that there are no flights scheduled for tonight, which I thought was very interesting. But in any case, I am not sure about what's happening. George asked me, he said, do you think that this is some, 4D chess type thing? Or do you think that there's actually a breakup? Or is this just like a show? I said, look, I think that it's more a show than not.
Right.
I really do. I think it's more theater than not theater. I think Trump would like to see this wrapped up in a bow tie, but also I think he understands full well that Miriam Adelson and that $250 million plus all the rest of the crew that's around him, they want Israel unleashed. Because according to sources today, Trump told Netanyahu he wants Israel to withdraw from Lebanon and Syria.
That's never going to happen.
Never. Are you kidding me?
Right.
So part of me is like, Trump already knows that, doesn't he?
Right. So
Like,
is that he driving them further apart by saying stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? So like he says, I want them to withdraw from Lebanon and Syria now. And Israel says, well, now we're backing even further away from these talks. So we're going to get pissed. And then senior advisor to the Ayatollah, Ali Akbar Velayati, he says the miscalculation in Beirut ended patience and the order was given. 0 hour has arrived and the launchers are ready. Hezbollah is a fragment of the axis of resistance. In the fire of mischief in Lebanon is not extinguished. The two powerful arms of geography, Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb, will squeeze your economic arteries to the point of strategic suffocation. Why do they talk like this? It's so bad. It's like I don't even like feel right reading it because I don't give it like the oomph that it needs. It's like we will literally choke off your arteries. We will take away your lifeblood. But again, is this all part of the sort of kayfabe, or maybe Trump? So oftentimes, I think Trump tries to show like I'm not on the same page as Netanyahu. Let them go strike Lebanon on their own. I just can't digress.
Right? That's the good cop, bad cop routine that George was talking about. I'm not sure because it was the US also that initiated not once but twice this war of aggression on Iran. It's not like they didn't attack. They attacked and participated full well, balls to the wall. So I don't buy it. I don't buy that this is somehow, poor us. Israel just keeps not listening to us. No.
Yeah.
No. I really believe what North Korea believes. The DPRK. Israel is the battleship of European and American colonialism in the region.
Why do they get it? Like they really get it. Like their consciousness is very deep for being such an isolationist state. It's very interesting. Same thing with Western Africa. Western Africans will come right out and tell you the entire history, and you're like,
listen, the Koreans fought the Americans and are technically still in de facto war. Right?
I posted a clip of Bassem Youssef talking about that the other day because it's important. They killed 3 million Koreans in 2 years.
Yeah. So
think about that, guys. Think about the devastation that would be if they killed the entire population of Gaza. God forbid, if they killed the entirety of it in these last 3 years. That's the loss that Korea suffered. It's insane how much they suffered. And because it's the forgotten war, I think Americans are just like, they're just irrational and hate us. They don't have any reason. They just don't like us for our freedom when we literally committed a genocide there. Full on genocide.
We also in South Korea, we killed people in Jeju Island.
Oh, I mean the entirety, of the peninsula.
Oh, yeah. We'll have Regis Tremblay on soon. I want to have him as a guest, but he made a documentary about Jeju Island. It's harrowing. A lot of people don't know the history about what happened in the occupied portion of Korea that was under U.S. occupation, which was under a South Korean military dictatorship. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Somebody knows. Ghosts of Jeju Island.
That's right.
Also Chris H. Look at that. Chris H's Unite.
That's it. Regis is a good friend of mine, good comrade. Stayed with him in Crimea. So we'll have him on to talk about.
Dope. Well, then I'll go watch the. Also, guys, don't forget Russian bombers are up in the air, so we should see those bombs soon. While we're waiting for the Iranians to decide, what are you? All right, you got to predict though. Do you think Iran will retaliate on this thread?
I hope so. I'm going to put it that way. I hope so because Lebanon we are together. We're not separate.
Yeah, I actually heard a Lebanese person the other day. He wasn't getting aggravated with Iran at all. He was just saying, like, I really hope they retaliate because when we get the retaliation, when we're taking the beating, and I think Iran knows that. This last attack on Beirut was I think the purpose of the attack was to provoke a response from Iran. So they're probably trying to calculate that response.
I think so.
Because I think that the stuff coming out of the United States is all theater, period. I think the stuff coming out of Israel is more authentic than the stuff coming out of the United States. So I think that Iran is probably calculating this response. That's my guess.
So. I think so.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah, baby.
Other than that, it's hot here. We have no air conditioning.
Wait, why?
Well, I don't have air. I live in the, we think we're Europeans up here. Okay. Scandinavians came and settled this area and they decided no air conditioning, lots of trees. So that's how we live.
Yeah. I mean, I don't use air conditioning.
We don't need it really. I'm
from Iran.
Oh, guys. If you're going to any of the games, please send us your footage. And if you are going to the game on June 26th, Egypt versus Iran, I will see you there with bells on.
Go!
And hopefully Egyptian media as well. So I'll see you guys there.
Inshallah.
Wednesday, we are celebrating an extra special episode. It's episode 69 with Scott Horton.
Nice. We've been together for 69 episodes?
Yes.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, big special episode. So if you guys have anything you want us to particularly ask Scott, please get us to our emails or message us. But other than that, I don't really think I have anything. I really am on this like tear of, guys, please read more books. I've been listening to the conversations, and the only thing, like, people are like, why did this conversation talk about like nobody reads any books? So if I'm going to give 3 book recommendations for the Americans, 2 of them could be for anybody. But the first is From Yahweh to Zion by Laurent Kaino. The second one is Culture of Critique by Dr. Kevin MacDonald. And the third is The Invention of the Jewish People by Shlomo Sand. Read those 3 books. Come back when your mind is blown. And I hope that we solve some issues. So that's what I'll leave. End on that note. Read more books.
Inshallah. I love that. That's the best way to end on.
Have a good one. And we will see you guys on Wednesday for our 69th extravaganza. Keep an eye on the White House for the wonderful UFC gladiator. I don't know what they do. Fight to the death.
Isn't it tonight?
It is tonight. Happy birthday, Trump.
Oh, happy birthday.